Hello and welcome back to Grumpy's Kitchen and Provisions. I'm Grumpy again. So today, as another Valentine's idea, we're going to do a kind of an old school throwback Steak Diane. So we used to do this tableside at a restaurant I used to work at. So we'll show you just how easy it is. So yesterday I stopped by and got a fillet, so an 8-ounce fillet from our local butcher shop in Simpsonville, South Carolina, Begley's Butcher Block. Phenomenal people there. Jesse, the owner, always great to work with, and always try to support local when you can. Your small business are the ones that need it the most. So here we go, and they also have phenomenal beef. So this is a prime beef tenderloin. This is an 8-ounce. So I'm going to cut this. First off, I'm going to cut my 8-ounce tenderloin into 3 pieces. So just try to make them as equal as possible. 1. Okay, so now we have three equal size pieces. Throw these tips over here. Now what I'm going to do for this purpose is just, I'm going to flatten them out just a little bit. So I'm just going to put a piece of parchment over. I'm just going to give them 1, 2, 1, 2 smacks, 1, 2. There we go. So not really pounding. Obviously we don't need to do it for tenderizing purposes because it's a tenderloin, but for surface area. So as it cooks, the muscle contracts and it shrinks up. So I just want to flatten them out just a little bit. So we have about a 1/4 inch steaks, 3 of them. So we'll put these off to the side and we'll go on our next thing. So now the next key is we have a 1/4 cup of beef broth, beef stock, whatever you have. Into that I'm going to add 1 large tablespoon of Dijon mustard. So this is really what makes it, one of the things that makes it Steak Diane. So we're just going to add that in there so we can let it kind of incorporate into the beef broth while we're getting everything else together. Okay, so we'll set that to the side. The other things you're going to need, so brandy, we are going to flambe it a little bit. If you don't want any alcohol, obviously just leave it out. You can add a little more beef broth. So in Worcestershire, again, Grumpy is always going to tell you Lee & Perrins is the best Worcestershire sauce. Of course, Grumpy's go-to, a little bit, that's about 1.5 tablespoons of heavy cream, butter, about 1 tablespoon, olive oil, and then we're going to go ahead and cut up. So I have a 1/2 shallot here, so I'm just going to cut it lengthwise one time. 1, 2, 3, 4 slices there. So we just want a small dice on our shallot. If you don't have shallot, you can use garlic, or you could use a combination of both. If you don't want those at all, you can leave them out. No big deal. Okay, so there's our shallot off to the side. I already cleaned my mushrooms. We're just going to slice these up about 1/4 inch pieces or so. It doesn't have to be perfect, whatever floats your boat. Okay, there's our shallot and our mushrooms. Now we have some green onion. I have just a couple of small. Just going to do those into a fine slice. There we go, good enough. And then the last thing is a little bit of parsley. That's really just 1 or 2 sprigs of parsley that we're just going to do kind of a rough chop on. If you don't have it, it's no big deal to leave it out. So it's going to go some in the sauce. We'll use some for some garnish. Again, the fragrance of fresh parsley, it just adds a freshness that's really can't be matched by dried parsley for sure. Okay, so there we go. Now all our knife work is done. We're just going to set these things to the side. Okay, so now we're going to get our pan heating up. So since I am going to add alcohol and flame it off, we're going to use a butane burner today. There we go. So in the pan we're going to add about a tablespoon or so of olive oil. This is 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm just going to use half of the tablespoon of butter. I'm going to use the rest later on. So there you go, half a tablespoon of butter. We're going to mix up our stuff to make sure the mustard is fully dissolved. Okay, now while we're waiting for that, we're going to season our steak. So obviously Grumpy's Go-To has everything you need to season. You don't need the salt and pepper because everything's right there. One side, flip them over. Our other side, there we go. Grumpy's Go-To. If you don't have it, pick it up on our Etsy site. You don't want to be left out. Okay, so now they're seasoned both sides, looking good. Our oil and butter are melted, coming up. Okay, our butter and oil are heated up. We're going to place our beef in. Again, place it away from you so if it splatters, you don't get hurt. So, and it depends on how you prefer your steak cooked. So we're just going to do this so it's about a medium rare medium. So we're only going to start about a minute on the first side and then we're going to flip it over. You can see everything's browning nicely. You can move them around just a little bit. If you want them well done or more cooked, obviously you're just going to cook them a little longer. They are going to finish in the sauce, so no need to overcook them the first time. Okay, we're going to give them a flip. You can see, nicely seared. There you go, so you can see. So after you flip them, like you say, depending on how you want them cooked, it's not going to take long. We're going to leave them 15-20 seconds and then we're going to take them off the heat and set them off the side while we make our sauce. Okay, good enough. So now I'm going to take these, just set them off to the side on our plate we'll use later. Okay, so now we're going to go in. We're going to go in with our shallots first. So in the pan. Don't worry about the stuff that's on the bottom of the pan. That's going to come off as we deglaze. Just give these just a quick stir. Next we're going to go in with our mushrooms. So this is just for one. If you wanted to do it for multiple, obviously, or get a bigger fillet, or get 2 or 3, and get a bigger pan and do it. You can do it for 2 or 3 people, no problem. Okay, so now is when I'm going to put in my other part of my butter. As these mushrooms cook, they're going to release some water. That's going to go and help deglaze the bottom of the pan. Then our brandy is going to help with the rest of it. Okay, now we're good. Everything like that. Now we're going to go in with our brandy. That's only a couple of tablespoons. Now we're going to go in with our Worcestershire, about a tablespoon. At this point, I'm going to go in with my beef broth with my mustard in it. I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. We want it to reduce just a little bit to make the sauce. Now we're going to go in with our, that's about a tablespoon and a half of heavy cream. We're going to go in with our green onions and half of the parsley. And just reduce it to the consistency that you want for your meat. We're going to give it a taste. Oh, that is very good. So as we scrape the pan, you can see all of the, where we seared it, the fond they call it, is off the bottom of the pan. It's all incorporated into the sauce. Tasting delicious. So at this point, I'm going to throw my beef back in. Like I say, it's really almost cooked to where I want it already, but we're just going to, if it cooled off at all, we're going to reheat it a little bit. Give our steak a flip to the other side. As you can see, our sauce is reducing nicely. And you could do this with a ribeye or a New York strip. Just cut it lengthwise, pound it a little bit, do the same process. Okay, our steak's in good shape. Put that on the plate. Whoopsie. Oh, the sauce is beautiful. Okay, so as you can see, the sauce is reduced down. So what they call nappe. So cut the spoon. It doesn't come back together. All right, I'm going to turn my flame off. Now we're going to go right over the top of the steak. Okay. Now we're going to hit it with a little bit of fresh parsley for a garnish. If you made a mess on your plate, wipe it off. Don't be sloppy. So there you go. Another dish you made all in your onesie with a little help from Grumpy, with some Grumpy's basic Grumpy seasoning, which is your go-to, why it's named go-to for everything. So until next time, happy Valentine's Day. I hope this helped for your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, loved one. And until next time, I'm Grumpy and grateful for you to continue to follow, like, and share. Have a great day.